Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Rajesh and I'm back with another PC build. I've got the Ryzen processor here, which is Ryzen 5 2400G, and it has inbuilt Radeon Vega graphics. So let's just go ahead and take you through the components which I'm going to use to build this PC. So the first thing which we have is a Cooler Master Box Lite 5 RGB cabinet. It does have 3 fan in the front, which is RGB, and I have made a dedicated video about this cabinet, so you can go ahead and check out the link in the description box below to check out the dedicated video for this cabinet. Such a lovely cabinet. The price in Indian market is approx 5,200 rupees for this cabinet. The next thing which I'm going to talk about is the processor. Yes, that would be a Ryzen 5 2400G build. This is available for 13,000 rupees approx in Indian market. The motherboard which we're gonna use in this build is MSI B350 motherboard, which is a gaming plus, and it is a really nice motherboard. If you want Asus motherboard, then probably you can buy Asus Prime B350 plus, and I've already made a video using that motherboard. The link would be in the description below. You can check out my other AMD build. So this motherboard is available for 8,500 rupees approx, and it is ADX motherboard. Talking about the power supply, we need a power supply which is a VS550. This is 550 watt Corsair power supply. The price for power supply is approx 3,200 rupees in Indian market, and will do the job perfectly well for this build. The next thing which we have is RAM. This is 16 GB of RAM, 8 GB each, HyperX DDR4 2400 MHz, available for 6,800 rupees each. Yeah, previous build it was 19,000 rupees RAM. I got a lot of messages, why so expensive RAM, you could have got another. So this time I'm putting HyperX RAM, which is non-RGB 2400 MHz. Although I will really recommend go for at least 3,000 MHz RAM for this CPU, because you really need faster frequency RAM for this kind of build. You also need an SSD, because to increase the performance of the system we really need an SSD. So 120 GB SSD for 3,300 rupees approx, and this is WD Green 120 GB SSD. It will really increase the speed of your system, so yeah, you should get a SSD for your PC build. And so for the hard drive, we're gonna use a WD 2TB Green. You can probably go for blue, black, whatever is your preference. So let's keep a cheaper hard drive. This is available for 4,600 rupees, and a WD 2TB Green. It does the work perfectly well. Yes, we do have a monitor. This is a 24-inch curved monitor. Let me show that. So this is 24-inch curved monitor. The model number is SE510C, and this is available for approx 11,500 rupees. 24-inch curved monitor. There are some certainly other cheaper monitor for 24-inch. Samsung itself, I'll share the link of Amazon in the description below. You can probably check out that monitor, which is 1,000 rupees cheaper. This is for 11,600 rupees. And yeah, that's about the build. Let's start making our PC, and let's get started with the PC build. CPU fan heat sinks comes with pre-applied thermal paste, so you really don't have to add additional thermal paste on that. This will do the work perfectly well. right now I'm updating the BIOS. The motherboard was manufactured in the month of October 2017, and since the Ryzen new processor has been launched somewhere around February mid, hence the motherboard is not supporting that processor. So the procedure to update the BIOS is a bit difficult for the motherboard, which is for B350, as you have to put a older processor. Ryzen 3 1200 is what I have installed right now to update the BIOS. So we'll update the BIOS and then we'll remove the processor. Again we'll put the Ryzen 5 2400G processor. It is a difficult process if you are doing it yourself and if you don't have sources of other processor. So you make sure you get the latest manufacturer motherboard, maybe after January 2018. So right now we are updating the BIOS, and the BIOS was released on 19th of March 2018. So yeah, so it's still under process. So our BIOS is updated, so we're gonna remove the Ryzen 3 1200 processor and we'll put back the Ryzen 5 2400G processor. Right now I'll remove the Ryzen 3 1200 processor from it and I'll put Ryzen 5 2400G. And also, as you can see here, I have installed a small graphic card just because the Ryzen 3 1200 doesn't have inbuilt GPU, hence the display won't come through the motherboard. So we have to put a GPU to get the display. That's because I've installed a GPU just for this Ryzen 1200 processor. So I'm gonna remove this GPU and I will replace this processor. So let's just get started with the changes. Alright, we are done with the PC build, and as you can see here, I have not installed any graphic cards because this processor has already Radeon Vega graphics in build. This is how it looks. One thing I would really like to add about this build, if you are planning for an RGB cabinet, make sure you should buy a RGB controller because this motherboard doesn't have a RGB header. So this RGB fans won't work without that controller. So yeah, that's about it. If in case you want to upgrade the motherboard, probably you can go for the RGB version motherboard instead of spending money on a controller. As you know, I have already updated the BIOS for this motherboard. This motherboard was manufactured in the month of October 2017 and the BIOS was not the latest one, hence this processor didn't support this motherboard. Hence we have upgraded the BIOS by putting another processor which was Ryzen 3 1200. So if you're planning to do it yourself, make sure you get a latest manufactured motherboard. Either you have to get a processor to update the BIOS, because without processor you won't be able to update the BIOS. Make sure that. So that's about the video. If you have any questions related to this PC or any other PC, do let me know in the comments. I have shared all the product links in the description below. You can go ahead and check out those. Price, if you want to purchase, you can purchase it from there. And yeah, that's about the video. Thank you for watching till the end. Stay happy and stay blessed, and don't forget to subscribe, as it really motivates me to make some more videos for you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.